There's something different about people who grew up in the 1970s. And it's not just nostalgia or attitude or the way they talk about the past. That decade didn't simply shape their memories. It quietly carved a specific psychological architecture that researchers are only now beginning to name. When we talk about healthy childhood development today, we tend to assume that more supervision means more safety, that more structure means better outcomes, that constant adult presence is the foundation of emotional health. But people who grew up in the 1970s challenge that assumption in a way that's uncomfortable to admit, because their childhoods often looked less protected, less monitored, less emotionally managed, and yet it forged something precise and durable inside them. Picture this. You're 7 or 8 years old. It's mid-afternoon. School ended hours ago. The house is empty, quiet in a way that feels normal, not alarming. You know where the spare key is. You let yourself in. The television hums softly. The refrigerator holds simple options, and you already know what you're allowed to take. No one asks how your day was. No one reminds you of the rules, and somehow, you're fine. You wait. You entertain yourself. You feel boredom settle in, and instead of escaping it, you work around it. This wasn't a rare moment. It was routine, and this routine taught something essential before anyone had language for it. From the outside, this can look like emotional distance or lack of involvement. But psychologists now recognize that consistent, low-drama independence strengthens executive function, the brain's capacity to plan, regulate impulses, and solve problems without external direction. Every time a child navigated an afternoon alone without panic, their nervous system learned stability. Something got wired quietly. I can manage myself. Think about how often you were expected to move through the world on your own. Walking to school, riding a bike across town, knocking on a friend's door without texting first, getting lost and figuring it out. No GPS, no constant check-ins. This wasn't recklessness. It was autonomy. What researchers call an internal locus of control, the belief that your actions influence outcomes, was being built through repetition. These children weren't told they were capable. They discovered it, and then there was waiting. Waiting for cartoons to come on. Waiting for a phone call that might never arrive. Waiting for the weekend. Waiting in boredom, in silence, in anticipation. This wasn't deprivation. It was neurological training. Neuroscientists link these environments to delayed gratification, the ability to tolerate discomfort without collapsing, a skill strongly associated with long-term emotional resilience. When everything isn't instantly available, the brain learns patience as a default. Emotionally, there were fewer escapes. If you were upset, you stayed upset until it passed. There were no screens in your pocket to numb the feeling. No immediate reassurance arriving through a notification. You just sat with it. This wasn't emotional neglect. It was emotional self-regulation. Kids who aren't always saved from feeling uncomfortable actually learn to calm themselves down. They don't interpret every emotional spike as an emergency. Socially, conflict was handled differently too. Kids argued, they fought, they worked it out. Adults didn't immediately intervene, and while this can sound harsh, it taught negotiation, boundary testing, repair. This wasn't social abandonment. It was confidence building. The ability to navigate disagreement without external mediation became a default skill. The culture itself moved slower. News came once a day. Mistakes weren't permanently recorded. Privacy existed by default. There was space to fail without an audience. Neuroscientists now understand that constant exposure and evaluation heightened baseline anxiety. The absence of that pressure allowed nervous systems to stay regulated longer. Attention spans stretched naturally. Focus deepened without being trained. Failure, when it happened, was handled with less urgency. You fell. You got embarrassed. You didn't get a trophy. Adults didn't jump in to fix things or make it all better. It wasn't about being mean. It was about helping kids build resilience. The brain learned to bounce back instead of just waiting for a rescue. Studies show that people who learn how to recover from small failures early are less likely to catastrophize setbacks later in life. All of this compounded. Independence built confidence, boredom built creativity. Waiting built patience, unmediated emotion built regulation. The result wasn't emotional coldness, it was internal anchoring. As adults, these individuals tend to tolerate uncertainty without panic. They don't require constant reassurance to feel okay. They can sit in silence without feeling it. They trust themselves in moments where others freeze. Modern culture often misreads this. It labels it emotional distance, stoicism, or detachment. But in reality, it's nervous system stability. What looked like freedom was structure. What felt like boredom was neural development. What seemed like risk was trust. People who grew up in the 1970s carry something increasingly rare, a grounded sense of self that doesn't depend on constant feedback. They are living proof that sometimes the most powerful gift you can give a child isn't protection from struggle, but the quiet confidence that they can survive it, navigate it, and come out intact on the other side. This is still patterns,